Yeah, my dear friends, things have gotten pretty rough for me here. But that's the life of an immigrant, right? One day you're doing great, and the next day you're not doing so well. So, before I start this video, I'd like to emphasize something. This isn't a complaint, it's just a question that a lot of Brazilians who want to live in Norway have. And I'm also going to share some stories from several people who have lived here in Norway, who are from other countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, the Philippines, and Brazil as well. Well, if you don't know me yet, my name is Alex Diaz, and on this channel I talk about Norway and also other Scandinavian countries. I also show a bit of my family's daily life here. So, I'm going to share my story here, very simple and straight to the point. Many of you already know that I am looking for a job. It's already been 4 months in this process. I'm also registered with a kind of government agency called NAV, where they look for jobs for me and also help me improve my resume, etc. And I've been doing that, right? I've been chasing after it. I've been sending out resumes everywhere, but I still haven't gotten any responses. I used to think I was the only one going through this, and I talked to a lot of Brazilians who also live in Norway, who've been here even longer than I have. They speak Norwegian better than I do, but they go through the same situations, not being able to find a steady job. And these people always have this feeling of not belonging when they find a job. And I thought, wow, I'm going to talk about this because I'm going through the same thing too. And I was shocked because I thought it was only immigrants from Latin America, Africa, or Asia who went through this. But believe it or not, it's not just us. There are cases here that will surprise you, like Americans and Canadians who had a hard time here, couldn't take it, and went back. Even with a degree, speaking Norwegian and English fluently, they couldn't adapt. So it's not just in my head. This really happens here in Norway. And you'll understand why that is. Look, a lot of people still believe that living in Norway is a guarantee of success. But the truth is, living here, especially as an immigrant, is one of the loneliest and hardest experiences there is. And it's not just me saying this. An American who lived in Oslo for 2 years working in the tech field said that even though he spoke almost fluent Norwegian, he was never invited to lunch with his colleagues. He said that people are polite but distant, and that it always feels like you're the foreigner in the room. He went back to the United States with his mental health shaken and couldn't understand how such a wealthy country could be so emotionally empty. I'm also going to read another account here, this time from a Filipina. I lived in Berg for 5 years working as a nursing assistant. She opened up, saying that the problem isn't just the language, it's the way people look at you. Even with years of experience and courses taken here in Norway, she says she was never treated as an equal. She felt like she was always being tested and only got recognition when she put in twice the effort of her Norwegian colleagues. And honestly, she's absolutely right to vent like that, because I went through exactly the same situations. The expectations are so high, you have no idea. Even if you have experience, even if you show up, work hard, arrive early, it's never enough. And they will test you in every possible way. Only you, as an immigrant, because the other Norwegian colleagues who worked with me were never bothered by the bosses, right? Those famous bosses, or inspectors, let's say, who would go to the work sites and hassle everyone. Even if the Norwegian did something wrong, they wouldn't say anything, but every immigrant, they would pick on. And I went through things I never thought would happen to me in Norway. And I never went through that in Brazil either. Well, now I'm also going to share a story from a Spaniard who came to work in construction in Trondheim. He stayed in the country for 4 years and reported that, no matter how hard he tried to learn the language, it was never enough. He said it felt like they accepted his work, but not his presence. And that whenever a mistake happened, no matter how small, they would put all the blame on him. That's what happened to me and happens to many Brazilians here as well. He ended up going back to Spain, even though he earned less, because at least there he felt seen as a human being. Man, bro, that was heavy, Do you want to watch this one? Look. Which one do you want to watch? Alvin and the Chipmunks? Look, this one is good, known, dinosaurs. Which one? Okay, but not to watch, because Daddy is about to give you attention. Now I'm going to tell a story about a German woman who moved to Stavanger with her husband, both of them college graduates. She said she was shocked by how hard it was to make friends in Norway. Even though she was European, with a good level of Norwegian, she was never invited to anything. That's pretty common here. She also said that none of her neighbors tried to strike up a conversation with her. She said the silence in relationships was so intense that she started to doubt herself. She became depressed and thought about going back to Germany countless times. It's not just me who goes through this, you know? People keep joking, saying that I complain too much. This video isn't a complaint, it's actually stories from people who go through difficulties here in Norway. And the problem too, folks, is that the Norwegian media, well, they sell Norway as if it were a beautiful and perfect country. Yeah, when it comes to being beautiful, Norway really is extremely beautiful, as I've already shown in countless videos. That's why I started this channel, you know, talking about Norway, and I still talk about it to this day, right? But the system is complicated, you know? I also have a Brazilian friend who's been living here for almost 13 years. I even asked her to take part in this video, but she didn't want to put herself out there, you know? I'm not going to say her name, okay? She'll probably be watching this video. And she's told me countless times, Alex, I don't belong in this place. I'm going back to Brazil, even if I have to live in a simple little house, even if I don't have much money, I'd rather be in Brazil, because there I'm seen, I'm not invisible. So, this is a feeling that pretty much every immigrant, regardless of their country of origin, whether it's a developed country or from Europe, feels here in Norway. There was also a Brazilian who lived in the Tromsø region, or Tromsø in Norwegian, for 2 years. He said that the jobs offered to him were always temporary, with contracts lasting 1 or 2 weeks. He said that even when he did everything right, the boss would find some excuse not to renew his contract. He also said that Norway pays very well, but doesn't let you build anything. You end up just paying bills without being able to save any money, and you still feel like you're always just being tolerated. It's not accepted. That's the feeling I have here in Norway. Pretty much all the jobs offered to immigrants are temporary. It doesn't matter. You can have a great resume, you can have courses, a master's degree, a degree in quantum physics, quantum mechanics. It doesn't matter. It's very hard to get into the job market here. Also, the fact that Norway is an extremely small country means they don't have that many job opportunities either. And when they do, those opportunities go to native Norwegians. Don't think it's over yet. There's still another story here from a blonde, blue-eyed Canadian woman. This one was really unusual. Even I couldn't believe it. So, this Canadian woman came here to work in early childhood education in Norway. She said she thought that being blonde, white, and having a passport from a developed country would make things easier, but she was in for a shock. Her Norwegian colleagues wouldn't talk to her during breaks, avoided conversations in the hallways, and even the children's parents seemed suspicious of her manner. In the end, she said she felt more like a foreigner here than when she lived in Asian countries. That's what happens most of the time, you know. And I never imagined that a blonde, blue-eyed person from a super developed country would go through something similar to what we Brazilians and Latinos experience. It's harsh, but that's the reality. So you must be wondering, why, Alex, are you recording this video? Are you complaining? Look, I'm kind of venting and also giving a heads up to anyone who wants or is thinking about living in Norway, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The country really is beautiful. Yes, it has quality education, it has healthcare, but if you don't have a job, how are you supposed to enjoy all of that? So, that's pretty complicated, you know? It's true. Well, what's most interesting is that all these stories come from different people, from different cultures, with different professions, but they all repeat the same words. Isolation, rejection, high expectations, coldness, and worst of all, guilt. Because here, when things don't work out, the system makes you feel like you're the problem. As if it's your fault you didn't get that job, didn't make friends, didn't integrate into society. But the truth is that the system is cold. It wears you out. It demands from you as if you were a local, but never treats you like one. Guys, Norway really is beautiful. I want to emphasize that again. The landscapes are breathtaking. The safety is impressive, but living here as an immigrant is a whole different story. It's not a movie life, it's a life of endurance. Every day is about trying to prove that you deserve to be here, even though deep down you know they've already decided and you'll never be one of them. And that's why a lot of people who have gone through all this, even earning good money here, prefer to live somewhere else where they feel more welcomed, where you're treated as part of the people, and not as a mistake in the scenery. Because at the end of the day, no amount of money is worth it when you don't feel welcome. I've been unemployed here for 4 months now. That's nothing new. I'm always unemployed. And maybe a lot of people living in Brazil don't understand how the system works in Norway. They might think, man, you're just lazy, like many have already called me, right, a gigolo. You depend on your wife, etc. But that's not really how it is, you know? I know there are a lot of insensitive people who are going to judge, and that's okay. Unfortunately, the internet has given a voice to a lot of people who really shouldn't be here, you know, commenting. And it's been really tough. I saved up enough money to get by for 3 months, right? I paid some bills in advance, and the weirdest thing is that I applied for unemployment insurance, but there was some kind of error in their system, so it wasn't registered, and I was told I had to submit the whole process again, right? With all the paperwork and everything to apply for unemployment insurance. Guys, I personally don't like receiving unemployment benefits. It makes me feel really bad, and I don't want that. I really want to work, it's just that I don't have a job. I've already looked pretty much everywhere and tried every way, and I just can't find anything. And I've never gone through this in Brazil. Seriously, I always had a job in Brazil, even if it didn't pay much. This has really gotten me down, you know, emotionally, but I kind of decided to just accept it, even though I didn't want to, when I took that trip to Sweden. And by the way, I want to thank you all who commented, supported me, and watched the last video. And that's it, guys. I'm not here complaining, I'm just venting and giving a heads up to those of you who want to live in Norway. I don't want to discourage you, okay? If you dream of living in Norway, that's fine, but just know that the system is tough. The system is not easy, you know? So that's it, my friends. I'm going to wrap it up here. But thank you so much for watching the video all the way to the end. And I'll be back very soon. I'm recording a lot of content, including for another channel that I'll reveal soon. May God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video, if He allows. Bye!